everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday. You have to forgive me if it's a bit weird today. I just got new glasses, they're very focused, and I don't know how they ficking work. Anywho, let's try. The Reluctant Adult, a guide to surviving small talk. Imagine a world with no small talk. Imagine a world where it was perfectly acceptable to ignore people unless there was a need for meaningful and enjoyable conversation. It's hard, isn't it? Because according to the Bureau of Made-Up Facts of 2018, the average British person discusses the weather approximately 11.7 times per day. It is therefore virtually impossible to bump into an acquaintance and not comment on how hot, chilly, misty, rainy, snowy, pleasant it has been lately. I'm sure there are some people out there so comfortable in their own skin that they do not need to waste time trying to win over the affections of those they barely know, but sadly, most of us are not that confident. Therefore, it's important to master the art of pointless dialogue, and with that in mind I have put together a handy guide that looks at how to equip yourself in several perilous environments where small talk is rife. Number 1. Work. First, let's look at one of the most popular areas of small talk, asking about a work colleague's weekend. This is perfectly appropriate small talk ammo for a Monday and possibly Tuesday, but you may find yourselves desperately clinging to it throughout the rest of the week for lack of literally anything else to say. The downside to weekend-based small talk is that under pressure it can be very difficult for a middle-aged person to recall anything they did at all because of their rapidly dying brain cells and the fact that they never go out anymore, unless it's a trip to B&Q or the Tip. Let's look at some examples of good and bad responses to the question, "Did you have a nice weekend?" Example 1. No, fuck off. I think we can all relate to this guy, but his response has several negative connotations. It's a bit rude. Swearing can be considered offensive, especially words like fuck, and the one beginning with C that I won't say as my mum will be upset. It's unlikely to make you many friends. The plus point is that although it might not be considered a very polite response, most of us are quite envious of anyone who possesses the balls to actually give it. Example 2. But shall I read for the benefit of those who are not watching but just listening? So example 2 is, "It was a mixed bag, to be honest. My Auntie Linda had a fall and ended up in A&E. Luckily it was just a twisted ankle. Georgia came second in her gymnastics competition, and we finally got the go-ahead on the new extension plans." Oh dear. One could argue that this response is worse than saying fuck off, for the following reasons. Too much detail makes people feel nervous. Fellow talk partner now feels obligated to inquire after Auntie Linda's well-being and congratulate Georgia, even though they've never met them. No one cares about their co-workers' sodding extension plans. Example 3. Quote, "Good thanks. Went to the pub, hung out with family. It was nice." End quote. In contrast to the first two examples, this person gives a perfect response. It ticks all the right boxes. Moderate level of detail, pub and family, relatable activities. Concludes the conversation nicely. After this quick interaction, both participants can now get on with their respective days. Lovely stuff. Hairdressers. Absolute prime territory for small talk. In fact, there is no smaller talk than in a hair salon. It is minute. If you're not a small talk fan, you need to establish your position on the first visit. If you let your guard down and engage in small talk, you will be earmarked as someone who enjoys chit-chat, therefore making it necessary to change salons frequently. Take a look at the encounter below. Going anywhere nice on holiday this year? Keep eyes down. Lie if necessary. Nothing planned yet? No. Give nothing away and try to remain silent. Remember, you're under no obligation to ask the stylist about their holiday. Stay strong and do not crack. You do not have to inquire back. You do not have to inquire back. You do not have to inquire back. How about you? Damn it. Well, actually, yes, I've just booked the trip of a lifetime to Mexico. Have you been? Blah, 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 blah. FML. Congratulations. Now put down your magazine and get ready to hear the full itinerary of Lydia's 2-week jaunt to Cancun. Neighbours. Neighbours are top contenders for small talk. You probably see them often, don't know them very well, but need to keep them on side. Fortunately, because seeing neighbours corresponds with the exiting or entering your house, you can usually keep the encounter brief under the premise that you need to be somewhere or coming home after a hard day's work. Good topics for neighbourly chat include the increase of dog poo in the area, hearing strange noises in the night, new neighbours moving in slagging off problem neighbours, accompanied by tutting, the number of loft conversions currently under construction, and, my personal favourite, bin day discussions. Now bear in mind that discussing bins can be very helpful, especially when you only have a bi-monthly recycling collection. Neighbourly interactions help me avoid the catastrophic situation of missing recycling day and being left with 4 weeks' worth of recycling. The number of wine bottles on view by this point is embarrassing, oh God, yeah, and starts to tarnish my wholesome reputation. Don't forget to put your recycling out today, you big wino. Ah, thanks, Bob. Next, public transport. Imagine this scenario. You're standing on the station platform waiting for your train. You arrived in good time and purchased what I like to refer to as a train pack, consisting of various snacks, magazines and drinks. You remembered your headphones and your 4 batteries fully charged. You may even have bought a nice hot latte. You're looking forward to 2 hours of peace and quiet on your own. But oh, what's this? 2 minutes before your train is due, you inadvertently lock eyes with a vague acquaintance, let's say an old schoolmate you've just defriended on Facebook. You don't know them very well and have nothing to say to them, but ignoring them completely would be rude. Before you know what you're doing, you've called out to them. The train pulls into the station and you have no choice but to board together. For once you're praying for a busy carriage, so you're forced to say your goodbyes and split up. Unfortunately, the carriage is empty. Do a little, shall we sit here dance, knowing that neither of you wants to sit together. You inquirely oh dear God. I don't know about the glasses, but the teeth are definitely not working. You inquire politely where each other is headed, which of course is the same destination. So you're taking the full 2-hour train journey together. Joy. You can now look forward to spending the entire time locked in an awkward conversation that you give 0 fucks about. You cannot look at your magazine because that would appear rude, and you cannot eat your snacks because it feels too intimate to shovel crisps into your gob in front of a near stranger, and also because you bought nice and spicy knickknacks which stink and make you look like a child. Next up, taxis. I don't mind taxi small talk. This is because I usually only get taxis when I am slightly inebriated, and being slightly inebriated increases my desire to chat nonsense with strangers. However, I am also conscious that nighttime taxi drivers must have to witness a lot of terrible behaviour from drunk passengers, so I often ask how they cope dealing with people who are shouting, swearing, puking, and generally being rude and obnoxious. Being a model passenger, I express disgust at such stories, and act horrified at the absolute mindless behaviour of lesser mortals, despite actually having behaved in exactly the same way myself. Taxi drivers seem to love me though, as do I love them. The supermarket. The supermarket presents a potentially hellish situation in which you may be faced with several small bouts of small talk, as if one isn't enough to deal with. Bumping into an acquaintance once is okay, in a way. Just greet the person and move on, right? But things start to feel more awkward when you turn the corner into the aisle, and there they are again. Whilst fumbling around for something to say, you look into each other's shopping baskets, searching for a conversation starter. They're buying organic veggies, and you're buying a pot noodle and a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. It's so exposing. It's a shopping basket that says, I'm pathetic and disgusting. Ooh, pot noodle, eh? Not had one of those since the 80s. The third encounter by the spaghetti hoops in aisle 7 is particularly painful. You both edge away slowly, laughing nonsensically about nothing. Things have become so awkward that you cannot risk the possibility of another encounter. They already know you're a disgusting pot noodle eater, and now they also think you're a weirdo with no social skills. Nothing else for it. Put your basket down and run. Run like the wind. You do not deserve your pot noodle and wine evening. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers, patrons and members. See you next week. Bye bye.